Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Here is a fundamental question, really, for all of us, no matter where we are. Why do rules matter when we think about fairness, safety, and, respect? Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at a whole bunch of sources, all focused on this sort of invisible structure that helps us all live together. The rules, the expectations, the laws we deal with every day. Our mission, it's not just defining them. We want to figure out, well, what happens when they fall apart? And how does really getting them make us better, more responsible citizens?
Yeah, it's easy to just think of rules as like things that stop you doing stuff, but there's so much more. Our research really shows that basically rules are these agreed upon expectations for how we act in groups, it's kind of a roadmap for responsible citizenship, guiding us.
A roadmap, I like that. And roadmaps aren't just drawn randomly, are they? The sources really stress that every single rule, from tiny ones at home to big national laws, they reflect what we value together. Safety, equality, respect, things like that.
Exactly. When a group agrees on a rule, they're basically saying this value is important to us. They're setting the terms for how they'll coexist.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate here for a sec.
Mhm.
What if everyone just decided, like right now, to ignore all the rules? Forget red lights, forget waiting in line, forget everything. What happens then?
Well, this is where the sources paint a pretty stark picture. It's immediate chaos.
Yeah,
Seriously, the moment rules go out the window, you don't just lose order, you lose predictability.
right.
And without that, trust just evaporates.
That's the real danger, isn't it? If I can't, sort of predict that the driver next to me will probably stop at the stop sign, or if I can't trust my teammates actually going to do their part for our project, the whole thing just falls apart.
Completely. It leads straight to confusion, conflict.
Right.
It's a mess. Rules are like the framework holding society up. They build that sense of justice because they set clear boundaries for everybody. If those boundaries just disappear, things get unsafe and, frankly, really unfair, especially for people who might already be vulnerable.
I think we sometimes forget that rules are there to protect us, not just punish us. It's about prevention first.
Absolutely. Take a simple rule, one we see everywhere. No bullying. That's not just, a suggestion to be nice.
No.
It's a firm boundary. It specifically protects someone's basic rights, their emotional safety, their dignity. It makes sure everyone feels safe enough to actually engage, whether that's learning in class or just being part of a group.
So it makes that abstract thing, dignity,
Mm.
into something real, something expected in how we act. And if you feel safe, you can actually focus on, learning or contributing, not just defending yourself all the time.
Precisely. That sense of order, knowing that generally people will follow the weight map. It's vital.
Okay, so rules aren't just one big blob. They show up differently depending on where we are, right? Let's maybe map out these different zones the sources talk about. First up, the place where it all starts, at home. These are often the softer rules, maybe unwritten, like respecting privacy.
Knocking before entering a room, yeah.
Exactly. Or, sharing chores, who does the dishes tonight, that kind of thing.
And even those simple home rules teach really foundational stuff about being a citizen. You learn that sharing a space means working together, figuring out resources, being fair about who does what. It prevents conflict.
Right. If one person always respects privacy but the other just barges in whenever, that's not fair, and that trust breaks down fast.
Definitely. Okay, so stepping outside the house, we land in school. And this is like the prime training ground for specific citizenship skills. You're not just learning algebra, you're learning how to be part of a diverse community.
Yeah, the social side is huge.
School rules really introduce us to complex social stuff, like respecting diversity and inclusion rules that make sure everyone feels like they belong no matter their background. And also, taking responsibility for your actions, that's massive.
Owning your choices, yeah. If you mess up, you admit it, you face the consequence.
Exactly. It's about maturity. And then there's technology. School rules around tech are maybe evolving faster than anything else.
Oh, for sure. They force you to think ethically, right?
Yeah.
Not just, can I look this up during a quiz, but should I?
Right. And it covers cyber safety, using digital tools responsibly, no spreading rumors online, not posting nasty stuff, giving credit where it's due, all that.
That ethical piece seems key. It's what makes using tech responsible instead of, harmful.
It really is. So maybe take a second, think about your own school right now. What's one rule that you feel really helps your school community work well together? Is it about respect in the hallways? Maybe it's the one about using tech ethically. Just considering the impact of a rule changes how you see it.
That's a good point. Okay, so let's zoom out even further. Community-like. our towns and cities and the online world, big spaces.
Right. In the physical community, rules often become actual laws with enforcement.
Traffic laws are the obvious one. That red light or stop sign. We stop, well, hopefully not just because we might get a ticket.
So that's a factor.
Ha, yeah, true. But it's more about a collective agreement, isn't it? Stopping keeps everyone safer, pedestrians, cyclists, other drivers. It protects that shared space.
Exactly. And the rules online, the cyber rules, they're just as critical even if we can't, like, physically see the danger sometimes. Preventing misinformation, online bullying, privacy violations.
Yeah, the sources mentioned respect digital privacy. That feels huge today.
It is. And it's not just about your own data. It's understanding that everything shared online can have real consequences for real people. These cyber rules are trying to prevent that digital chaos we talked about, that loss of trust when you don't know what's real or who's accessing your stuff. They protect the community online, just like traffic laws protect the community offline.
Okay, so we've gone from home to school to community to online. How do all these everyday rules connect to the really big ideas like human rights?
Right. Human rights laws. These are the big ones, the foundational principles. They protect things like equality and freedom on a global scale.
It can feel kind of distant, though, can it?
hmm
Like, how does a school rule connect to something that big?
Well, the connection's actually pretty direct. Every fair local rule should ideally reflect and uphold those fundamental human rights. So a school rule about fair grading, that links back to the right to education, the right to equality.
Okay.
Traffic laws keeping roads safe. That links back to the fundamental right to life and safety. Environmental rules about pollution, right to a healthy environment.
So that question from the sources makes more sense now. How do local and national laws affect your daily life? It's not just speeding tickets, it's the safety standards on the food you eat, maybe, or the air quality regulations in your town.
Exactly. The law isn't some dusty old document. It's woven into everything. And understanding that connection, that's what shifts you from just, following rules to actually being a good citizen.
Okay, so what's the difference there? What does being a good citizen really look like? According to the sources, it's more than just obeying.
Much more. Following the rules is important, obviously. It shows respect for others, for yourself, for the system. But real citizenship, good citizenship, is active. It means you need to sometimes question the rules.
Question them.
Yeah, and work to improve them, and definitely uphold the ones that are fair. If you see a rule that seems unjust, or maybe it's outdated and doesn't really serve its original purpose anymore,
Then what?
then a good citizen feels a responsibility to speak up, to advocate for change, but, responsibly. It's like you're not just driving on the roadmap, you're also helping to maintain it, maybe even redraw parts of it if needed.
Okay, I see. And the sources gave that practical example, right? Like designing a civic poster.
Yeah, showing how a specific rule supports fairness or safety. So instead of just don't litter, your poster might say recycle to protect our planet. It connects that small action, that rule, to a bigger value environmental protection.
Making the why clear.
Exactly. When you can explain why a rule exists and how it links to something important like justice or safety or sustainability, you become more than just someone following orders. You become like an active guardian of your community.
And that feels like the real aha moment here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rules aren't just fences put up around us. They're tools we actually use to build the kind of society we want. One based on trust and fairness and predictability.
Well summarized. So yeah, wrapping up this deep dive, we've seen rules are essential. They're the framework. They protect rights, promote fairness through shared expectations, and create the order we need for trust to even exist.
Right. We spent a lot of time on why we need rules for safety and order. But we ended on this really interesting, maybe more complex idea that good citizens don't just accept rules blindly, they question them. So, as you go about your day back into your homes, schools, communities, here's something to think about. When should people challenge rules they think are unfair? And how can they do that responsibly? How do you advocate for change without causing the very chaos rules are meant to prevent?
That's the real balancing act.
Definitely something to mull over. Think about that. We'll talk to you next time on The Deep Dive.